What's up, guys? It's time to review one of my all-time favorite modern comedies. This is The End. Looking forward to this one. Let's go. This is The End. Stars Seth Rogen, Jay Baruchel, Jonah Hill, James Franco, Danny McBride, Craig Robinson, and is directed by Seth Rogen and Evan Goldberg. What's up, guys? Welcome to another classic review. This is a patron request for Bronson Wright Wolf. He gives me a monthly request. You can too if you have a certain tier. And boy, he's given me some great ones in the past. And he's already got his whole list lined up. A couple of hints. Castaway is one of them that's coming up. I'll save the rest for the nice surprise. But I'm excited. I'm looking forward to them. But This is The End was definitely one that I was looking forward to because it just so happens to be one of my favorite modern comedies, and it feels like this movie didn't come out that long ago, but I was looking, it's 11 years old now. Can you believe that, guys? This movie is 11 years old. It's insane to me.
Emma Watson showed up.
Give me everything you have to drink!
There are 6 of us, you cannot rob us!
I'm not fucking around!
I might be wrong here, but it might be the last time I laughed so hard that my sides were aching. That's what this movie is. I'm sure there might be a movie since that had come along, but I mean, really, and I've talked about this in the past, the comedy, the day of the great comedy is pretty much over. The last really funny one I saw was Bottoms, and that's sort of the style of this particular comedy. If you remember, I call it the Apatow era, where you had a lot of these actors like Seth Rogen, Jonah Hill, James Franco, and quite a few others. They were all just kind of working together, and you'd see them pop up in different movies, and they were just really funny. These were really talented writers that were able to come up like on the fly with really funny stuff. And it takes a comedic actor to be able to do that successfully. And if you watch the behind the scenes on not just this movie, but a lot of those movies, a lot of the stuff was improv. You know, they just came up with it on the spot, which is really cool. But let's get into a quick plot synopsis. This is The End. What's cool about this movie is everybody plays themselves, you know, so I guess it's easy to remember their names. There are no character names. At the end of the day, this is like an amplified version of themselves. They're pretty much caricatures of themselves, taking their worst and best traits and maybe poking fun at it. To give you an example, at the beginning of the movie, they're at the airport. Seth Rogen is picking up Jay Baruchel. Jay Baruchel's kind of the main character for the first third of the movie, but then it becomes more of an ensemble cast. I mean, it really is all the way through, but it seems like the point of view of the viewer is kind of Jay Baruchel. They automatically make fun of Seth Rogen, how he acts like himself in every movie. And I think that's the best comedy. When you can poke fun at your own faults, then people are going to forgive you and they're going to laugh with you and not at you. And that's what they do in this. But man, it's so hard to really discuss all the characters in this movie and how they do just that. And sometimes they kind of take liberties just for the sake of the story. But like James Franco, he seems to be a little bit obsessed with Seth Rogen. And I think when you just do it mildly throughout, it works better than if it's kind of overstated. And you see that along the way, like he has this art one with Seth's name and his name, which is kind of funny. And Seth Rogen's reactions to that works well. They even talk about doing a sequel to Pineapple Express. And they even film it if you were doing, I guess, the demo version of it, the low budgeted version. There's a name for it in Hollywood, what they call when they're just kind of throw some scenes together just to give you an idea. And I'm sure you guys will let me know in the comments, but yeah. But the main plot of this movie, there is a plot, is there's a party. They end up at James Franco's house. And man, you see every freaking celebrity of the day in that house. And all of them have their own little moments. Michael Cera, I think he might be the most far removed from his own personality. I hope so, because
Don't fucking touch my bumper, bitch!
It was a weird face.
he's a wild one. He's the wild child. They take the guy that you wouldn't dare think is that, let's just say he's like Nikki Sixx of Motley Crue, okay? There's a bathroom scene. I won't go into detail, but yeah. there's just a moment where all the good people are being taken to Earth and all the bad people are going down into hell. And that scene might be the funniest scene when they come outside of James Franco's house, and then there's just this big hole that opens up. And I mean, there's like a joke a second throughout that. You know, Paul Rudd just out of nowhere comes running in and he steps on one of the characters' heads. You know, nobody gives a shit about anybody. It's fend for yourself.
Come on, get out! Nick! It's too late for you. You're already in the hole. Damn it! Get the fuck off of me, Aziz!
There's a funny scene where Jay Baruchel, he's holding one of the other, I can't remember the actor's name. He was just on Michael Rosenbaum's podcast. But he was in Oppenheimer. But he's holding on to him, and they have this whole exchange, like, I'm gonna hold all of my weight, and then he just like lets him go. But yeah, that segment of the movie, a lot of people die, and then for the last 2/3 of the movie, you're pretty much spending time with our core cast of, say, 6 or 7 guys. And Danny McBride, I'm just gonna say it, he steals the freaking show when he comes in during that portion of the movie. He's just extremely selfish. He eats all the food. He gets into arguments with everybody. There's a hilarious scene where he's holding a gun on them and he literally fires it, you know, aiming to kill them, but it has blanks. I also love how Jonah Hill, at the time, you know, he had just a Moneyball. And so his character, of course, in this movie is, you know, the actor that is so full of himself. He's egotistical, just because of the fame that he's gotten. And so he takes himself way too seriously, and they poke fun at that. Jonah Hill, I think, next to Dan McBride, gets some of the funniest scenes as well when he is demonized and the demon has this massive schlong and it comes up on the bed. This is where you get into the exorcist portion of the movie, because Jonah Hill, the demon, starts talking through him, and very comedically, and it sort of reminded me of Scary Movie 2.
The power of Christ compels you.
The power of Christ compelling me? Is that what's happening?
The power of Christ compels you.
Guess what? It's not that compelling.
But if you haven't seen This Is the End, I don't want to spoil all the jokes, and there's like 9,000 jokes in this movie, and you know, most of them are hilarious, and some nice surprises which I won't spoil, even though most of you probably have seen this movie. It's one that I throw in at least like once a year. And I remember my kids, they absolutely adored this movie. You know, when it came out, they were still in high school, and we used to watch this all the time. I bought the Blu-ray immediately when it came out. But it's able to take characters that are literally actors playing themselves and somehow still giving them great characteristics. And you somehow root for all of them. There's even like some sweet moments when they're scared and they're all sleeping together in the same room because they don't, you know, they're scared that they're gonna get attacked. And then Craig Robinson comes in, this freaking bearish looking guy, and he's even scared. You know, so just a lot of really funny moments, like side-splitting moments, and I love this movie to death.
Sorry, we just don't know you, man. You could be like a looter or a rapist or a titty fucker.
I'm not a rapist.
You gonna titty fuck us?
As far as the comedy goes, Trapped on an Island, for sure. There's not a dull moment in this movie. There's a great Channing Tatum cameo as well. Hilarious. But yeah, that is my review for This Is the End. Thank you, Bronson, for requesting this one. Can't wait for next month's. And yeah, I got a few more patron requests coming up as well. I can't thank my patrons and my channel members enough. If you want to support what I do, definitely check out my Patreon page, become a channel member. And yeah, we all have a blast together too, so it's really fun. Also, be sure to come over to Killer Flicks, where we talk horror all day and every day. And on Fridays, Rudy Free for Fridays. Follow me, Drumdums, on my social, support me on Patreon, buy me a coffee. You know, guys, thank you so much for watching. Have a great day. Drumdum out.